Hello, my name is Spire Hurt, and this is my Project and Portfolio 3 process presentation. My project I chose for the month was a hermit crab story in the form of a moving schedule. What's a hermit crab story? For those who do not know, a hermit crab story is a story that is written within a non-literary piece of writing, like the following: a crossword puzzle, a resume, a rejection letter, or a grocery list. According to the Writer's Digest, it was originated by Brenda Miller and Suzanne Paola in their book Tell It Slant. When Brenda Miller was sitting at her desk writing for the book, she was stuck, and so she went to her favorite spot to free her mind, and it was under a bridge where a river ran through, and there was little eddies, and in one of the eddies was a hermit crab. And when watching the hermit crab, she realized that the hermit crab was the perfect metaphor for the type of stories she was writing. She had just got done writing a kind of meditation tutorial, but deeper inside the meditation tutorial was a story about the struggles of growing up and being an adult. And so she realized the perfect metaphor was how hermit crabs have soft bodies, soft, vulnerable bodies, and spend their lives finding shells to protect themselves. And that's how she felt of her stories, that they had a vulnerable, more softer core, but needed to be surrounded by a more structured thing to protect it. And thus, the hermit crab story was born. So now, week 1. At the beginning of week 1, I picked my project to be a hermit crab story. The reason I picked it was because out of the whole list, and given the requirements of it couldn't be something done in a previous class, the hermit crab story stuck out the most. It was something I never heard of, and it was something brand new, so that's what I chose. And I spent the first couple of days researching hermit crab stories, their history, examples, and much more. And then I made my action plan and got started on rough drafts. And initially, I wanted it to be a grocery list, but in real life, I was moving, and I thought due to relevancy, I could change it to a moving schedule, which would help me with inspiration and creativity, and I could just take from real life and slices of life, and I'm really glad I did that because it gave me much more of a story. In week 2, I worked on the rough draft of the design. The design was tricky because there's no right or wrong way to make a moving schedule. If someone were to come up to me and show me their moving schedule, my opinion on the design of it wouldn't matter too much. They made it just to help them move. So there was no good foundation for me to base this off of and start with, so I kind of had to create my own and start from the ground up with that. And I'm really bad with design. Design is not my strong suit. So I played around with Word, Excel, and Canva just for the rough draft. I knew it'd be messy and not look good, but just so that way I had a structured thing to put my story inside of. I worked with those, and I landed with Word. Word seemed to work the best. But the final and polished version will be done through Adobe Illustrator. Adobe Illustrator worked the best out of. I tried Figma and Adobe Photoshop. But out of those 3, Adobe Illustrator worked the best for what I was creating and what I needed. In week 3, I made major revisions to my story. I basically scrapped everything I had before and started anew. Because I did have a story, but it wasn't very entertaining. It wouldn't keep a reader continuing to read it. So I scrapped it, kept the structure of what I was working in, but completely restarted on the story itself. I went back to examples of other hermit crab stories and read blogs and articles about hermit crab stories and started to feel stuck on where to go. But I found a book called Shell Games that really helped me. It gave some examples and it gave more stuff from Brenda Miller. So it was really good. In week 4, so far, I have finished the story itself. I have now come to the conclusion that I really like the story I've created. And I am now creating a cleaner and more polished version of the moving schedule. So that way it looks very clean, it looks organized, and although the story's hidden inside of this moving schedule, it is still there and able to be read. Ways I feel like I have grown this month. I feel like I've grown in my flexibility in writing, my design and skills, my knowledge of my field and word economy. I have tried now a different style of writing, which has made me more flexible, and my design skills were atrocious, but this actually has helped them because I had to do things more from the ground up and not with a pre-laid out structure. I had no idea about hermit crab stories, so that was a new skill and new thing added to my brain, and it helped me be smarter with my words. So these are ways I've grown. And this was my process presentation.